Hi, I'm John Byrne with Poets and Quants. Welcome to CentreCourt. We have a great interview with a Columbia MBA alum. She used the MBA experience to actually launch her own company. This is Carly, who is the founder of Laws in Motion, which is a really unusual women's clothing company. Now, did you bring that idea directly to Columbia, or is this something that happened while you were at Columbia?
Yes, and it was something that, the pain point was something I experienced prior to Columbia when I was a management consultant. But the idea itself and the way that it came to life and the iteration that it currently exists was something that happened while at Columbia. But John, I'm sure you can relate. Like, it was one Saturday, I was a management consultant and I went shopping for workwear with a guy friend. And it was the first time that I saw how the other half shopped. And my guy friend walked into a semi-custom menswear shop and he picked fabric and sipped whiskey and got measured and he was out the door in 30 minutes. And 3 days later, he had a perfect fitting suit at what I consider to be a pretty reasonable price point. And I spent that entire Saturday up and down Fifth Avenue trying to find a basic black dress that sort of fit, was sort of my price point, took it to get tailored, and in the end, I paid twice the price for something I liked half as much. And I said, you know what? We talk so much about the need for equality and opportunity on the front end of our careers, right? Career advancement opportunities, equal pay, but we don't talk about all the inefficiencies on the back end when there's a one-to-one correlation between how well a garment fits you and how confident women feel in high-pressure situations. And so that's what Laws of Motion is all about. It's about fueling and ambition. It's all about the force of women and fueling women's ambitions.
And it's really, you actually make custom clothing essentially for women because it's available in 99 micro sizes, right?
That's right, John. So Laws of Motion uses data science to engineer better fitting, more granular sizing that accounts for both size and shape. And the way you can think about this is there is no one size 6 and there is no one size 16, right? Brands are designing to fit the average woman. And in reality, there is no average. And so the combination of on-demand manufacturing based in New York City with large-scale data science to create better fitting sizing allowed us to solve for that pain point in a really attainable way.
Now, you were a consultant at Deloitte. Why did you end up going at Columbia Business School? What drew you to the place?
I mean, John, that's what you do, right? You go into consulting, you hunker down, you work with brilliant teams on some of your clients' biggest challenges, and there's a really linear path, right? There's a linear path to success in consulting, and so that was very appealing to me out of undergrad. And, part of that linear path was going off to business school. And everything about Columbia was directly aligned with who I was at my core from, and what I wanted from a community standpoint. And the opportunity to tap into an incredible network of classmates on campus, an incredibly strong alumni base in the city, an opportunity to network with different business leaders in the city, and then to get to know the faculty better in an environment that combined practice and theory.
Yeah.
Now, of course, that was the plan. And then you go to business school and, the plan is to go in and dive deep into industry while at Columbia and then to return to Deloitte as a young partner and pave the way for success and innovation in the space. And newsflash, or spoiler alert, I didn't do that. But certainly that was the objective.
So the entrepreneurial bug hit, and you started working on your company while in the MBA program. How helpful was the MBA program itself, the faculty, your classmates in launching your company?
Columbia Business School is instrumental. I mean, you can't talk about Laws of Motion without talking about Columbia Business School. I mean, that's where, I talk about different iterations and digging into ideation and really exploring the root cause of the idea, everything from like the initial idea and understanding how to flesh out the best fitting solution for the problem, all the way to, our first 2 hires were data scientists. And I met them through the Columbia Network. And, I raised $1 million the summer I graduated from Columbia. It was, pre-product, pre-revenue, pre-brand. We didn't have a name, but we had a very clear vision and how that was going to come to life. And so, almost a quarter of that round was from classmates and connections from the Columbia community. And so I would say, from the DNA of like understanding the pain points all the way through, initial funding, and then so many of our customers and now so many of our our teammates. It's been an incredible pipeline for talent as well. And so truly instrumental in helping shape Laws of Motion as a business.
Yeah, did you have a mentor or two among the faculty or not?
Mentor too. I mean, yeah, yes, and several. And what's interesting, John, is that I started at Columbia thinking that I was going to continue on this train with consulting, right? So, I stuck a good consultant. I stuck to my guns. Everything I wrote about in my essays that I was going to bring to life with the internships I lined up. And I'll always remember a conversation I had with a mentor of mine who started the healthcare and pharmaceutical management program at Columbia. And that's what I'd done before. I was in healthcare consulting, and so it all made sense to me. And I sat down with Cliff, about halfway through the first year, and he said, "Congratulations, you have, all these internships that are great. Like, where are you going to go this summer? Like, where you've lined them all up? What are you going to do?" And I said, "Cliff, I got to tell you, I'm a little nervous to have this conversation with you because I have those internships that we've talked about for so long that I wrote my essays about and I came to Columbia for, but I also have this internship at this early stage e-commerce startup that was founded by 2 women in the city. And I think I need to go there because I have this vision of re-engineering and completely revolutionizing the way women experience apparel and how it fits them. And I need to go learn how to build an e-commerce brand this summer." And he's like, What? But what that taught me, John, and why this is so important is I was so nervous for that conversation because I thought that Cliff was going to say, I put my neck out for you. I, backed you in all of your pursuits. And I can't believe you're going to decline all these offers. And instead he said, "There's no doubt in my mind that that is the right decision for you. And I can't wait to see the business take off when you start." And has been a champion ever since. And so that's the difference. I mean, that's the Columbia difference, right? That's a real mentor. That's a real champion. And of course you can find those individuals at any, across any point in your life, but certainly meaningful ones at Columbia.
What did you learn about yourself in the program? I mean, obviously you picked up business skills. You had classmates that you could bounce ideas off. You had mentors and faculty. You got at least $250,000 in funding out of the first million round from your classmates in Columbia Connections. But what did you learn about yourself?
I was always so goal-oriented, and I think a lot of MBA students are, right? There's this clear vision and you're going to stick to the plan. And I found that, yes, I loved consulting and yes, I was good at it. And it's because I was solving complex problems with really brilliant teams and it felt meaningful. What I found, John, is that in aligning myself truly with my purpose, and really focusing on what's important to me and what I'm doing here, that is when I really opened up and life really opened up. It wasn't just about the next goal and the next objective. It was about pausing and saying okay, let me reflect on life. Let me think a little bit deeper about what it is that makes me me and lean into that. And I would encourage anybody going into business school to not just think about the goals that they have because of what makes sense and what's next. It did not make sense for me to start a company when I did. It did not make sense for me to turn down, sponsorship and the financial security and the career security that comes with going into business school and having that plan. But you just don't get the time back and you have to go for it. And no one is going to believe in you more than you. And it's a cliche statement because it's true. And so the second you start to lean into that, I think that your world of opportunity and, life and work and just all of your decisions start to align around your core purpose. And that's something I learned about myself. I certainly did not think I was going to graduate CBS and be running Laws of Motion. That was not the plan.
So what advice would you have to other MBA applicants right now in this marketplace? You are going through a major pivot in your company. In fact, in a few moments, you're about to meet with Governor Cuomo to talk about the transition of your company into making PPE equipment, right?
That's correct. So Laws of Motion early on realized that we were in a position that we could pivot the business to produce medical grade gowns for the state of New York first, but for entities across the country. And so when we realized we could do that, we decided it was not only the right decision, but it was the only decision. We are a New York City-based brand and a New York City-based team. and we were going to do everything we could do to help. And so we did. And we are supplying over 2 million surgical gowns directly to New York State in partnership with Governor Cuomo. And we'll continue to build on that in the coming months. But again, right, leaning into purpose, did not ever think that we would be making surgical gowns, but here we are. My advice would be, just that you really don't get the time back. And so don't play to not lose, like play to win. And whatever that means for you, and it's going to be different. So you've got to be centered on you and on what's important to you and your, I always talk about true north, like know what your true north is and let that be your guiding principle, your set of principles that help you make decisions. But it's going to be different for everybody. And don't be afraid if it changes a little bit. It's okay that, you come in with one script and then you flip that upside down a time or two. I think it's all about the journey.
Boy, if you went back to Deloitte, you wouldn't have had to pay any tuition bills, right?
Oh, they're great. Don't worry. Some of our first investors were senior leaders at Deloitte too. There is an ROI.
I bet they were. Well, Carly, thank you so much. Thank you for spending your time with us. I'm very happy that we got to meet. I wish you were in person, but it is that time.
Here we are. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants at CentreCourt.